The president and congressional Republicans scored a major victory today as the House of Representatives voted to repeal and replace major parts of Obamacare by a vote of 217 to 213. Undoing the Affordable Care Act has been a major goal for Republicans ever since President Obama signed the law over 7 years ago. According to the Fox News Brain Room, there have been over 60 other votes to repeal Obamacare, but with Obama out of the White House and Republicans owning a majority in the Senate, the end of Obamacare is in President Trump's sights.
We're going to get this passed through the Senate. I feel so confident. This is a repeal and a replace of Obamacare. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. And I think most importantly, yes, premiums will be coming down. Yes, deductibles will be coming down. But very importantly, it's a great plan. And ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Democrats trashed the bill and said that it would soon become a political liability for the GOP.
This vote will be tattooed to them. As I also said, they will glow in the dark. They were, I don't know, duped into walking the plank for a bill that will not become law.
They're going down to celebrate something that comes way, way, way short of what the president looked the American public in the eye and said he was going to deliver. Insurance for everybody at less cost and higher quality.
Okay, Greg, so obviously the Democrats none too happy with this today.
You know, on average, every day, 6,700 people die in the United States. You can bet the Democrats are going to blame every single one of those on this vote. And nothing will change their minds, conveniently ignoring all the suffering and death created by decades of liberal policies in inner cities, the war on poverty, you name it, they've destroyed lives. But to this bill, this is what you call progress. It was a positive trajectory, and it shows how kind of Trump works, that the first bill didn't fly. So he didn't scrap it. He said, I'm going to try it again. It's a true salesman. You know, he's trying to sell you a car. He wears you down. And so in this case, he wore everybody down. And so people thought, you know, maybe he'll let it go and move on to something else. No. But still, I believe the solution is to get this out of the hands of the bureaucrats. Every time the government gets involved in something this large, it is never the same. It's like if government had invented the wheel, it would have been square and made of snakes.
Oh, my goodness. Alarming and terrifying at the same time. But you bring up a great point, Greg. And
thank you.
Jesse, I'm going to go to you on this, because the president had to use his leadership skills, his art of the deal, to negotiate and be able to pull votes to be able to secure this. He didn't give up on it. And for all the reporting on it, they said, listen, he went in and was dealing with people one-on-one till he could secure it and get them in his pocket.
Yeah, he was on the ropes big time, and we've seen the president on the ropes many times in the past when he was down big in August and then came back to tie it. On Election Day, came back big. And then I remember he was down, and then he gave this great press conference and just told everybody they were very fake news. He seems to be able to catapult himself back into contention when everybody thinks he's down, and he did it today. He's a big winner, obviously. He's going to take this momentum and try to get tax cuts through the summer. Paul Ryan saved his job today. The Freedom Caucus made this bill more conservative, and I think this really unites Republicans going into the summer, which is a good thing. You know, they destroyed Obama's legacy. This is the beginning of that. Goodbye. And, you know, it did some very important things. It gets rid of the individual mandate and all the taxes and the regulations. It does not allow buying insurance across state lines. Maybe they can fit that into the Senate.
That's like phase 2 or something.
That's phase. Who can? I can't even keep track of.
But it's important to get that.
It's very important to get that. And, you know, it takes away the power of the federal government. It makes it state-based, so they have flexibility with Medicare and things like that. So there's a lot of good things in the bill, and they'll probably make it a little bit better in the Senate.
All right, Megan, your reflection.
Yeah, I'm not saying this isn't a win today, because obviously it is. The Freedom Caucus has been validated by the fact that they can bring moderates to the other side. They sort of played a game of chicken with moderates and said, we're not going on this bill. And moderates ended up being the people that President Trump, were able to turn over. This isn't going to be final. This still has to go to the Senate, and I wouldn't take this bill as is, because the same fight we just saw between moderates and members of the Freedom Caucus and more extreme fiscal conservatives, exact same thing is going to happen in the Senate, and it's not going to be a day at the beach. But I look forward to seeing President Trump put pressure on people one way or the other who would get in the way of getting this repealed and replaced, because because midterm elections are coming, and if you say, I promise to repeal and replace Obamacare, and boom, I did it, I mean, the elections are going to be a pretty easy slam dunk.
Yeah, and some of these people are playing a little chicken with it, saying, well, if, you know, you need the votes, but you don't have it, then I'll come forward. If not, I may stand back to, you know, to cover their butt. But he's going to remember who those people are. That's a bad, perilous position to be in. Juan.
You know what? I hope it covers mental illness because we're seeing a lot of it at the table tonight. A lot of people who are like, oh
Come
my
on,
God,
Juan.
this is great. This is a victory for Trump. Like a dose of reality, just, you know, the doctor's prescription. This is a fraud. This is a guy who didn't get anything done, no legislative accomplishment in the first 100 days, desperate for something that he can call a victory. He gets pressure on everybody from the Heritage
Democrats so hysterical
to
today
the
if
Senate,
nothing happens?
all the way to Paul Ryan, and says you must do this. Reince Priebus pushing this like it's his life depending on it. But here's the details you have not heard about America. Uninsured, more uninsured people. Remember, I'm going to give you something that covers everybody. Better?
Those are people that don't want to sign up for insurance.
No,
if you're young and healthy, you don't have to buy it because you're not mandated.
You are so full of it. Let me just tell you something.
No, that's the truth.
What about this? If you're a senior in this country, so many older people voted for President Trump. Guess what? Now you can be charged 5 times more for your medical coverage.
What about my home state of Arizona?
What about
premiums are up over 100%.
What about the seniors that paid 116% more for their premiums in Arizona?
Let me just tell you something. What about Medicare?
Honestly, how dare you? My home state has been hit the hardest by far.
Hospitals are going to pay more for Medicare. What about the poor paying more for premiums and deductions?
I want Juan to go to Arizona. No, I want you to go to Arizona and say this.
Juan,
I want Juan to go to Arizona and talk to people that I know that are paying more than their mortgage for Obamacare premiums, 126%. Promised that they could have insurance anywhere. One insurance company in every county except one in my home state of Arizona. It's a disaster. Why are you freaking out so much? Nothing happened. If this isn't a big deal, why are you freaking out? You're freaking out, and Democrats are freaking out.
It was a lie
because we
like your
know
health
the
care.
victory.
You keep it kind of like that.
All right, everybody. Deep breath. Everybody think of like a green pasture and frolicking little goats.
Let me tell you something. Don't mess with McCain. I've told you once before. I've told you again.